so many technologies. How do you identify that this is going to become a potential question in UPSC, right? Our aim is to get marks in UPSC.
Though the name of the subject is science and technology, but let me declare that it is a non-technical subject. You need not to be an expert or an engineer.
Considering science and tech, it is also the most unpredictable part of GS3, yet at the same time, it is the most scoring part of the GS3 paper.
We are talking about generative AI, we are talking about deepfakes. So you have to understand what is the working of AI and what are the fields of its application.
We want you to inculcate that skill of identifying it yourself, that this can be important and this is the way of thinking that I should adopt and make my notes on and revise. Hello everyone, welcome to another video of GS Blueprint. We'll be starting with the much anticipated science and technology portion of GS3 mains. I am Nitin and with me is Kanishk Tomar sir.
Welcome everybody.
Now GS3 as it is a very unpredictable portion in all the GS, and considering science and tech, it is also the most unpredictable part of GS3, yet at the same time it is the most scoring part of the GS3 paper. Now given the rapid developments in science and technology that we are witnessing, UPSC is having a field day with this portion of the subject because it has so much impact on our daily lives, and every day the technology is changing so rapidly and to so much extent.
Very correctly mentioned, sir. Again, science and tech lies at the core of GS3 because it tends to touch upon technicality into other subjects like even economy. For example, yes, last year they asked about toll related to technology, right? So again, though the name of the subject is science and technology, but let me declare that it is a non-technical subject. You need not to be an expert or an engineer. The questions are majorly application based. If you are aware about the application of one technology over other fields, health, education, infrastructure, etc., then you will be, this will turn out to be a strong area for you. Make sure that you are preparing India-centric notes on science and technology. Yes. And also towards the end of this video, we have a little surprise for you. So stick around. Let's start with GS Blueprint.
All right. 3 topics are given which cover all of science and tech for the GS3 paper. Now, these topics are very confusing, intermingled, and that is why we thought of breaking down it to the finest level and making sure that you are getting exactly what to read and make your notes on. All right.
There are also portions which are not mentioned here, but we have tried to cover that also. Right. So let's start with the first topic itself, science and technology, its development and applications, and of course, effects in everyday. We have broken this topic down into 2 things. One is emerging and disruptive technology, and the other is impact in everyday life. So let's have a look at what are emerging and disruptive technology. So as the term itself suggests, what is that emerging technology and not just what is being tested in one particular institute of USA or Europe or Australia or India, but which has emerged out to be a front runner and is impacting our daily lives. That is what it is. So let's start with the first thing first. We know that first we have to talk about AI here. The biggest change has been for the last 2-3 years, AI. There have been, of course, fears surrounding AI. We are talking about generative AI. We are talking about deepfakes. So you have to understand what is the working of AI and what are the fields of its application. It can be linked to any application, as I said. It can be related to energy. It can be related to your work environment, anything. Also, there have been some global conventions. Global AI Summit was there in 2023. EU has passed an act related to AI also. So it becomes a prominent pillar of emerging technology. Another is Internet of Things. Now, Internet of Things, I would simply suggest that wherever you can add a smart keyword, I repeat, wherever you can add a smart keyword in front of any thing happening around you, let's say smart home, smart car, smart watch, smart
refrigerator,
smart refrigerator, smart AC, everything. So you should be able to connect that it is related to Internet of Things. You should be aware of what technology is behind it and what can be or how it is impacting our daily lives. Another is the digital infrastructure, digital public infrastructure, so to say, as the government calls it out. So over here, of course, you have to relate, they can ask related to, let's say, financial inclusion, or let's say ironing out the errors, inclusion, exclusion errors, etc. But you should be prepared in science and tech related to technologies like how is UPI functioning. It has been almost a decade we have been utilizing UPI. You should be aware that what technology is behind it, how it is linked to JAM Trinity, then what is 5G, 6G technology, how it is helping out in, let's say, we can also prepare for a digital rupee also. We have a central bank digital currency. We also have ONDC, that is important in terms of digital commerce. Beyond that, there are other things like Neuralink you can prepare, blockchain technology you can prepare. These are amorphous things they can ask about. They have already asked about 3D printing. So whatever is emerging and is recent, you should be prepared with that. Like I will add on to Neuralink through facial recognition technology or metaverse, like virtual reality, augmented reality, how it is going to impact and shape our future, right? Next is impact in everyday life.
Now, whatever sir has said about knowing what the technologies are, you have to be aware of what exactly is the technology. But at the same time, UPSC is never going to ask a standalone question, explain the technology. It is always going to rely on, are you aware of what the use of this technology is? All right. Now, in this, the first topic which was taken in this particular section was computer science, right? The computer tech. Now, this one has a lot of daily use, right? We have work from home. You are seeing in work from home, what do we use? We use cloud computing. Are you aware of what cloud computing technology is and what are the various use cases? We have digital signatures, right, which enables a lot of work from home and remote working of people. We have satellite internet. We have Starlink technology by Elon Musk. So satellite internet is another technology. Then you have what are the various uses of AI. So this AI which is mentioned, what are the various use cases of AI? Be it in medicine, be it in agriculture, be it in changing the scenario of jobs, right? How is the job scenario in India changing and what will be the impact of the technology? These are the various things you need to prepare here. Now, one point which I mentioned was the medical sciences, and medical sciences gets a separate base of its own, that what is the various technology, be it emerging or disruptive technology in the field of medical sciences, right? Here you have one is telemedicine, we all know about. Next is what are the variables and technology to track your health progress, etc. Then you have the use of nanotechnology in healthcare. These are the various aspects of healthcare that
they've already asked related to health, what technology can be applied and how health as a sector is being disrupted by technology.
Now, next point that I want to mention here is that you can take agriculture, for example, or rural development, for example. What is the role of technology in agriculture and rural development? Here you have technologies such as remote sensing, or you have the use of drone in irrigation, fertilization, or just the application of pesticides. Then I talked about remote sensing. You have various schemes like Swamitva scheme, which is using remote sensing technology. So what is the use of technology in that scheme? In the recent budget, the government came up with the PM Dhan Dhanya Yojana, that is use of technology only to enable 100 rural areas, make them progress, right? Then we can talk about how technology can be used for critical areas which are problematic, such as water, sanitation, climate change. These are the various critical areas. Another factor which I want to mention here is that of transportation. So we have questions like what is the use of technology in EV and how is it emerging and what are the various challenges, etc. Then you have self-driving cars or even toll collection, like you mentioned. Toll collection was asked last year only. What is satellite-based toll collection? So these are the various technologies which are impacting daily life, and you should be aware if you're reading newspapers every day.
Talking about daily life transport itself, Hyperloop can be important. Not just how it is working, that is it feasible in India? So you should be prepared. Be aware and be just acknowledge that what is happening around you. Is it impacting you, your government policy?
Now, sir, in this, what I want to mention is that how do you identify? There are so many technologies. How do you identify that this is going to become a potential question in UPSC, right? Our aim is to get marks in UPSC. So how is it going to become a potential? So if that technology is going to, is something which is going to happen, you are aware that this is going to happen and it is going to change lives, then it becomes a prominent question, such as the RRTS. Right, RRTS, or even the Hyperloop, or we have other electric buses which are running on hydrogen technology, etc.
Green hydrogen.
Yes.
Hydrogen cars we are not talking.
Correct.
Moving on to another topic, topic 12. Now it is majorly about achievement of Indians and of course indigenization of technology. But we have broken it down further into details. Let's talk about achievement of Indians first of all. So it can be achievement of Indians individually, or it can be achievements of Indians in terms of through an institution, through a revolution, through a mission. All that you should be prepared for. They have asked explicit question on individuals already. They asked about Bose-Einstein condensate in 2018. They asked about MS Swaminathan earlier. So be prepared from history, how we have contributed domestically and internationally as Indians. For example, you should prepare for J.C. Bose. You should prepare radio waves related question can be there. You should prepare for V. Ramakrishnan. You should prepare for C.V. Raman, Homi Bhabha, APJ Abdul Kalam. So these are probable individuals who have been the stalwarts in our science and technology area. Talking about institutions, ISRO can be institution, DRDO can be an institution, mission. Any mission you can take, government related mission. That is, for example, or revolution, let's say green revolution. So how it has impacted your life or how it has shaped the future food security, it can be linked to anything, right?
Now, coming to the defense part, because this is talking about indigenization of technology, and defense is a very important sector, which is, there is an impetus of indigenization in defense technology in India. So in this, let's break it down to micro levels. Let's talk about missile technology. All right. In missile, you can further break it down to defensive and offensive technology. In defensive, you have systems such as S-400. You have the Israeli and the US systems such as the Iron Dome and the THAAD system. UPSC has already asked questions on it.
Quite a lot of.
Yes. And it talked explicitly about S-400, and it also said what are the other similar technologies available.
Very important.
So you must be aware of those. Then we talk about offensive technologies. In this, you have surface to air, surface to surface, surface to air to surface. And in this, prominent ones would be the Agni 5 missile. We have the Agni Prime, which was tested recently, right? And then you have other missiles, important ones like Akash, BrahMos, and you have Astra missile, right? So these are the missile systems that you should be aware of. Both in terms of what is the technology deployed and what are their use cases and how it is strategically benefiting India. Then you have the aircraft such as Tejas is important. Then you have the aircraft carrier also, INS Vikrant, which is indigenously developed. That is also important. Then you have the newer technologies like UAV and drone. And during the Operation Sindoor, we witnessed how much the drone technology is relevant.
Even Russia-Ukraine war.
Yes.
Changing the course altogether.
And India is trying to acquire the Reaper drones of the United States. So a question, I'll not be surprised if UPSC ends up asking about the Reaper drone itself as a technology. How is it superior? How is it superior to our DRDO Rustam, right? Which is our UAV. So these are the questions you can expect here. Then there is another focus of indigenization, that is what are the steps being taken in terms of making India Atmanirbhar in terms of defense. So here you have PLI schemes for drone technology, you have the defense industrial corridors, and what are the various initiatives taken by India in terms of incorporating artificial intelligence and emerging disruptive technologies in the defense sector. All right.
Next up is energy, though not explicitly mentioned. This is another area where India is focusing on indigenization, securing our energy security, of course, depending on ourselves. So starting with the first thing itself, the renewable energy. It has various dimensions, renewable energy, different types, solar, water pumps, how are they working, solar, photovoltaic cells. So it is not that they will be asking what is the working of NPN transistor, etc. It will be, but if you can mention that in one of your points just as a passing reference, it would add value. So be prepared with the technologies also, not in too much detail, but more about the application, and one single liner or a diagram would help. Yeah. Then we can talk about nuclear energy. Yes, it's very important. They have asked question from renewable energy earlier regarding, let's say, run of the river projects. They've asked question related to offshore winds. So this time we are talking about rooftop solar a lot. So those can be some probable questions, that how can they shape the energy landscape of India. Talking about nuclear, again, what is nuclear technology? What is our 3-stage plan? What are the facts related to in our energy mix? What is the combination of nuclear? Then what is the thorium reserves we have, and why are we not able to utilize that, and what can be done to utilize those things? Then what are the positives and negatives of nuclear technology? Should we go for it? Like EU presently, the European countries are trying to get away from nuclear technology, but still we are pushing for. What are the reasons? Should we not? That debate already. Then of course you should also be prepared a little bit in detail when you're preparing in 3-stage cycle, that what are the types of reactors involved. They've already asked about fast breeder reactors, so they can always ask about the pressurized heavy water reactors also. Right. Beyond that, you should be prepared, of course, as I said, types of hydrogen. One is green hydrogen, that is quite a talk of the town. So in green hydrogen, what is green hydrogen, how it is produced, etc. If you're not aware, then your answer won't be enriched. You should be aware about what is the green hydrogen mission, what are the different areas. As sir also mentioned, in transport, be prepared related to EVs and battery infrastructure, and what type of batteries are there, what is ISRO doing related to battery development. Then how is EV working? Is it going to be a sustainable future for us if you push EVs? Then beyond that, you should also keep mentioning about the recent lithium reserves that were found in Jammu and Kashmir. So these areas you should be prepared, and we should be prepared with smart grid as well. That is quite important when we are talking about energy, right? Next up is others, the miscellaneous.
Right. So we kept miscellaneous because this is a portion which, we'll never know what the extent of this topic is. Right. In this, what we'll suggest is, one, is there any important push by the government towards any particular technology? Now, in this, you have something in the field of semiconductors. Then you have, chip manufacturing, or even in AI, we have an indigenous schemes. We have EV manufacturing. There is a scheme by the government. Then talk about disruptive technology. What are the push by the government in disruptive technologies? So here in 2016, the question came on the mission on nanotechnology. Then you have the National Quantum Mission on quantum technology. Then you have India AI mission on the artificial intelligence technology. So these are the various broad level push by the government towards certain technologies. So you should be aware of the salient feature of these technologies and the challenges in implementing them, and what is the way forward. All right.
You will also be seeing that we are kind of mentioning certain missions and certain keywords time and again. That is what the subject is all about. It is so amorphous. It is so interrelated that we cannot put any topic in its silo itself. Right? So hope you understand that, and hope your answer also reflect that. Next up is awareness in various fields. So they have specifically talked about various fields. They have mentioned on and around 6-7 fields. We have tried to club IT and computer field first of all. In IT and computer, you should be aware about technologies like what is Web 3.0, what is big tech they are coming up, and why is there is a need for regulation. Talking about regulation, should they be taxed? What is the regulation for IT in India? How is IT doing, or India doing in, let's say, becoming a global leader in terms of IT? What are the different services it can provide? Is it going to be disrupted by AI again? Then beyond that, when we are talking about computing, you should be prepared related to various computing, types of computing. You can talk about, let's say, supercomputing, Param series, etc. You should be aware. If you are not mentioning Param in your supercomputing, then your answer remains incomplete. Then one mission we have is of quantum computing, a giant leap. Be aware of what is quantum mechanics, then what is quantum computing, is it related or not? Then beyond that, neuromorphic computing, that is really important. How is computer trying to mimic our brains? Yes, so these are various technologies or angles you should be prepared for IT and computers. They've already asked from DPDP Act, they've already asked cloud hosting. Now, these are not very recent areas, but let's say when we are talking about big tech regulation, that has been in news in last 2 to 3 years. One important thing, sir, with science and technology is that there is a recency bias always. Whatever is happening, they'll not be asking something about what happened 10, 20 years back. So be prepared, and recency bias is not last 6 months, but last 2, 3 years. Right? Next up is, sir, space.
Very important topic, space. I think almost alternate years UPSC has ended up asking something or the other on this topic. One important topic this year or the next year could become is the Indian space policy, which was released in 2023. Have your salient features and the issues and challenges prepared on that. Then you have IRNSS or the NAVIC, which is the navigation technologies in the space. Question has already been asked, but still, if something new happens, be prepared on that. Then you have private sector in the space sector, private players in the space sector, which is another prominent debate. You should have your points ready both for and against this proposition. Then you have Aditya L1 mission, which it's a prominent mission by ISRO, but the question has not come yet. So you can expect it anytime. In this, in Aditya L1, two secondary questions emerge, that what are solar flares and what are Lagrange points. So these are two two concepts which you should be aware. I think for prelims also you should be aware. Then Chandrayaan 3 is another mission which is not in news, but if something by Chandrayaan 4, if it gets announced, you should be prepared for it. Then Gaganyaan mission is a prominent topic on which any year a question can come again. UPSC has already asked in 2022 about what is the benefit of having our own space station. Exactly. And we have recently announced about the Bharatiya Antriksh Station, or the BAS. So this also becomes an important question. Apart from that, UPSC also has this habit of asking about any very prominent, mission by NASA or even Japanese or European space agencies. So like James Webb, they asked in 2022, right? We were not expecting UPSC to be asking something from NASA. So in that line, I would say deep space optical communication is something which is very prominent this year. You can prepare on it. Apart from that, few trivial topics like the space debris. How is it a problem? Kessler syndrome, associated topic. What are anti-satellite tests? 2024, they ended up asking what are asteroids. Very something which shocked everybody, because it's a basic question which UPSC ended up asking. So this is a topic which is very unexpected. You have to be prepared of each and every concept, asteroid, comet, or what are extraterrestrial bodies, all the other bodies, inclusion of or exclusion of Pluto as a planet, right? So this is the level of preparation that is required.
So this is, again, as the name itself suggests, it requires a lot of space in your notes also. Yes, so prepare exhaustively for this. Within this, you can also prepare the performance of ISRO, how it has performed in the last few years, how it has gained a space globally in terms of commerce, space commerce. Also, one emerging area is, sir, space tourism.
Yes.
Now, we have been talking about it, though not directly impacting us, but that has been something big which one particular individual has been planning. So be prepared with that. Next up is robotics. Now, frankly telling you, it is not a very important area, and UPSC has not focused a lot of questions on robotics. In last 10, 12 years, 13 years, they have asked only 2 questions from robotics. So be prepared generally that what robotics can be linked to, how can AI with robotics can be a disruptive technology, what are the various government initiatives related to robotics, or what can be the applications. They've asked, as I said earlier, related to 3D printing. So how can 3D printing be a solution for India, smart and, let's say, affordable housing? How can it provide for, let's say, individuals with Divyanjans, with certain limbs? So all this is what you have to prepare in robotics.
Right. Now coming to nanotechnology, another portion which has emerged a few times, but again not very prominent right now. I would say nanotechnology mission has been launched, phase 2 has been launched. You can prepare on that part. Apart from this, the only thing you need to prepare on nanotechnology is that what are the various applications of this technology, be it in the field of medicine or in the field of fertilizer or making precision farming a successful idea. Then you have brain-machine interface, which are also talked about. That is also prominent in this topic. Water purification, nanofertilizers, these are the other topics you can read in nanotechnology.
Now, next up is very important topic, biotechnology. Now, UPSC has been focusing on biotechnology as a topic, and in last 10-12 years, there have been at least 8-9 questions. That itself reflects that how important this question can be in terms of mains. So within biotechnology, of course, you have to prepare with what is the potential, what is biotechnology, first of all, what is the potential, what can be the application areas. Within application areas, they have tried to link in previous year questions related to how it can help farmers, how it can help this particular sector. Yes, so you should be prepared with that. Within this, there can be, of course, vaccination. They have asked already that how India is producing vaccination, how it can be an important milestone. Then this was in 2022. You can also prepare for certain startups related to biotechnology, how India can utilize its startup ecosystem in terms of biotechnology. We are also aiming for bioeconomy. That has to be, we are projecting it to be $300 billion economy by 2030, which is huge. Within this, of course, we can talk about biofuels. They have asked question in 2023 related to microorganisms that can be utilized for biofuel. Again, quite disruptive in itself. Beyond that, I should say that you should be prepared with various features of National Biotechnology Development Strategy. And one standalone question can always be there on Genome India project. What has it been and has it been successful? What has India gained out of it? Right? They have asked earlier about antibiotics and fixed dose drug combination, etc. But I don't think so. They are very relevant now. So these are various areas you should be mentioning. Be prepared within agriculture also. How GM mustard or other technology, GM crops itself, biopesticide, biofertilizers, all these are various areas where biotechnology question can be put.
Right. Coming to the last part of this topic, which is the IP rights. Now this topic is again a bit important because UPSC considers it important. Only thing you need to know here is that what are the various types of IP rights available, be it the copyrights or patents or trade secrets. Last year they ended up asking, so I don't think this year it is important, right? So, but that shows that they are willing to go back to the basics and will be asking you questions on the basics. So be prepared on what are the various types of IP rights and what is the difference between them. What is the IP rights regime in India like? What are the issues and challenges associated with it? Then various sections of the Indian Patent Act 1970. Like in 2013, they ended up asking about very specific section which was associated with the Novartis case, right? So if something is in news, you have to be aware of that and be prepared on that. Then you can talk about why are there very less patents in India? Why? What is the trend like? Then you can dwell on the GI tags and issues and challenges associated with GI tags. So this was it about the IP rights.
Now let's have a look at certain PYQs. Now within PYQ, last year, AWFG, we asked a question related to satellite-based toll system. So we were having debates, we explicitly and vividly remember that should we ask it, is it important again? But we ended up asking it because we felt that yes, it is impacting you and us while we are transporting, of course, utilizing
something
highways.
Which is going to happen and is disruptive in nature.
Exactly.
That is why we picked up this topic.
And UPSC in the same year, last year itself, also talked about electronic toll collection. And now, suddenly it will appear that it is a surprise question and we are not prepared for this. But if we can also think, you are also, I would say, more talented and you will be able to guess also what is impacting you, what is happening around, which can be shaping India's future. So this can be one way where you can start guessing science and technology questions at least.
Another example that we want to give is that something which is very relevant right now, how does it get transformed into a potential question being asked by UPSC? So as you can see that vaccines in 2021, we witnessed COVID and vaccines became important that year and the next year. So the same question we also predicted and UPSC also ended up asking the same thing, a basic question nonetheless, but it shows that it is not very difficult to predict what can be asked.
Next up is a question from 2023. We talked about healthcare linked to AI. Again, AI can be linked to anything. And UPSC also in the same year talked about AI and tried to link it to healthcare again. So again, these are probable questions which can be predicted, so to say. But I would say that you should prepare your notes comprehensively. Talking about, let's say, if you take the example of AI, you should be linked to education. You should be talking about smart grids. So be prepared on topics comprehensively. You have something to talk about at least.
Right. So if one thing that we want you to take from this video is not the list of topics that we have been talking about, but we want you to inculcate that skill of identifying it yourself that this can be important and this is the way of thinking that I should adopt and make my notes on and revise.
So this is how you can prepare your own GS blueprint. And if at all, coming up with a surprise that if at all you want to have a PDF version of what we discussed here, you can download it by clicking on the first comment itself. So I think that was it from our end. All the very best. See you in the next video.
Thank you so much for watching.